Hello, I'm Rick Bayshard, and thank you again for visiting my channel. Today I want to speak about the idea and the experience of loneliness. Loneliness in this world is something very few of us really ever escape, regardless of our situation. We may have many friends and family around us, but ultimately we're going to find ourselves, even within a large city of Manhattan, that we feel alone. And if we look at the world from a physical perspective in our planet and the solar system and the observable universe, that alone will make you feel alone. The size of it is incredible. And here we are in this little planet and a little body and a little part of it's just like, what do we do with that? So, but what we do with that from an ego perspective is it helps us to justify why we feel alone. But the experience of feeling alone, is really a choice. It's really a decision that we make at a whole nother level. Now, many people would say, well, why would I choose that? Why would I want to feel alone? This is an awful experience. It's empty and it's frightening and it's discouraging and so many other things. But the reason we choose that, and when I say we choose it, I'm not talking about me as a specific bodily person. We choose the experience of feeling alone at a whole nother level, the mind level, because remember, we are a mind. This is not who we are. And we choose the experience of loneliness at the mind level as a defense. And what I mean by that is, if we feel alone here in this world and we have loneliness experiences, what that does from the ego's perspective is that it substantiates that I must have left my source. I must have abandoned God in some way. Because if I did not feel alone, then it would mean that I've never left my source, because how could I feel alone when I'm one with God? So we make up from an ego dynamic the experience of loneliness, and we choose to experience that here in this lower level dream. Right, because there's two levels to the dream. There's a worldly physiological experience of the dream, and then there's the mind level of the dream, where we have this dream of separation and a split mind. So here we are in bodies, unaware that we're a mind, feeling alone, and it's an awful experience, and we're completely aware it's something we chose, because we want to substantiate that we have left our source and that we are separate, autonomous entities. And at that dream, that upper level dream, level 1, we want to be separate. Within the dream, we still think it's a good idea. Our decision maker, the mind, is split. We look at the thought system of the ego and say, this is what I want. But it comes at a cost. And again, that cost is the pain that we experience in this projected world of time and space where we identify as bodies. And if we don't know that's what's happened, then we don't really have a solution to the loneliness other than try to pretend we're busy with friends or maybe taking medication. So you see, the world's never, ever, nor does it have the capacity to make us feel safe, give us peace. It's up to us to choose peace. But the way we do that is to realize the world's way of solving loneliness, and any other problem for that matter, is by going back to the mind level and choosing differently. Now, ultimately, of course, we want to use the symbols of Jesus and Holy Spirit in A Course in Miracles. We don't want to throw them away either, because they are there reminding us that we are as God made us and that we are whole and inherently good and complete. Now, again, that may not be our experience here, but we do have the ability here within this lower level dream where we identify as bodies to use our intellectual capacity to connect the dots. Again, the concept of reality is a tricky one, because, again, this is why quantum physicists, that's their mission, is to try to understand what is the nature of reality. It's really important to slowly step away from identifying as to who we are as separated individuals in this kind of body with a psychological dynamic that makes us feel that we feel alone with. That's not who we are. but we're not aware of that. And so again, the Course in Miracles is trying to gently bring us back to the teachings and the theoretical storyline that no, this world of time and space and who we think we are was a projection of the ego thought system so that we could be here in this world. You know, even though there's a few things we might enjoy, we can be here in this world and have all the myriad amount of problems and reasons, including loneliness, to say why we are unhappy and not to look where the problem is. So loneliness, again, is a defense against the truth. It's something that the ego has chosen for us to, and we are the ego because we've identified it, we have chosen loneliness because that substantiates that we have successfully left our source, and it's true. But it's not true because the mind is split, and the Holy Spirit, the right-sided part of our mind, which is love, and the atonement principle, says nothing bad has happened. But as a way to try to deny that atonement, that truth, we use things like loneliness that we choose, we make up, and we experience, and we say, look what I'm feeling here. It must be true. I wouldn't feel this way. And we seem to be stuck. So the way we become unstuck is to understand the principles and the theoretical, premise that the Course is providing us, to show us that no, this is ultimately an illusionary dream, and not to dismiss the experience here, but this is a dream of being away from our source. And even feelings, such as loneliness, are illusionary. They may not seem it to us, and they're painful and awful. But the way we use the breadcrumbs that go back is to at least intellectually get that and have the willingness to say to ourselves, maybe I'm more than this. Maybe I've been wrong about everything, and we have. So that I can begin to be with this loneliness and own it. That the world has not done this to me. That it's not some ontological state where it just is. It's purposeful from the ego's perspective. And again, at the mind level, we've identified with the ego thought system, so we have chosen this. That's not a sin, nothing to be ashamed of. We just want to recognize it's a defense against the truth so that we can learn and forgive ourselves and accept, okay, I'll feel lonely here, no more than if I cut my arm, I'll bleed. It's part of the experience of time and space and bodies. But we can have these experiences, understand where they're really coming from, what they mean and what they don't mean, and it's that perspective, that proper perspective, that forgiveness of ourselves and what we do here, that will slowly bring us to the space and place of peace, because we'll realize it doesn't have any power, and then why we made it. And that the good news is, the good news that be revealed is that, we've never left our source. But again, it's a process because we're resistant, because we cannot underestimate how much we want this at a level that is completely out of our awareness. And that is how we want to approach this. Not feel bad or guilty, again, for the experience of loneliness. Just recognize it's a choice. And again, I understand that many of us would say, well, I want to choose this. Well, we do. And again, we do because at a level out of our awareness, the idea of being separate from our source within that metaphysical dream is a good idea. And until we realize the cost of identifying with the ego thought system, we won't give this up. And it could take us trillions of years. But what does it matter? Time's not real either. Ask any quantum physicist. So that is something I wanted to discuss today, because I know that I myself occasionally can feel lonely, but I just begin to look at it and say, wow, that's, I don't even have to understand it all. Just be with it and understand what it represents from the ego perspective and what it doesn't mean. And that's all we have to do. And that is the approach we want to take. So thank you for visiting my channel today. If you found it interesting, please hit a like. And if you are so motivated, feel free to subscribe. And I will look forward to presenting other videos in the very near future. Thank you.